Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Jeremy Clarkson. In the news this week, evidence from the McLaren garage suggests their poor season in Formula One may be down to a lack of focus.
Rosie!
Awaiting trial and forced to spend time at home helping with domestic chores, things go from bad to worse for Sepp Blatter. And in Brighton, Labour's Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell are relieved to get out of the conference centre without making any more blunders. On Ian's team tonight is a journalist who's been covering the Rugby World Cup for the Sunday Times. Her next piece will be out at the weekend, as will England. Please welcome Camilla Long. And with Paul tonight is a presenter of 2 top-rating daytime TV shows, which is why he's such a passionate opponent of Ian Duncan Smith's scheme to get people back to work. Please welcome Richard Osman. And we start with the bigger stories of the week. Ian and Camilla, take a look at this.
Oh, yes, I wonder what this is. Oh, this is Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell.
Happy front bench.
Vegetarian sandwich.
Yes, and that was the last speech, which didn't go down quite so well. You ran the footage of him going up the stairs, but that's a metaphor, really, for Corbyn fighting the right-wing media. Thank you very much indeed. But anyway, this is the Labour conference. It didn't go as badly as everyone hoped. And in the end, Corbyn was not very good.
You're absolutely right. Of course, it is the first conference for Corbyn as leader, and obviously it was slightly derailed at the end by this nuclear business.
He was asked a straight question and he gave a genuine answer. They asked a question, which they always do for politicians. We'll ask them a question that's impossible to answer. So, would you ever press the nuclear button? If you say no, then you have this reaction. If you say yes, you say, well, you've always said you wouldn't do. So he can't answer it. So what does he do? He actually told the truth.
Yeah.
And no one's done that for a long time.
No,
Definitely question,
Whether he is right or wrong, I think that's quite a refreshing way to deal with it.
I think the problem was that he then changed his mind afterwards, which is not great if you've got your finger hovering above the nuclear button, to be fair.
I had a bit of sympathy when he said he'd never press that button under any circumstances, because I'm the same with the ITV2 button on my remote.
What is ITV2?
You will find out soon enough, Jeremy.
You have no idea. Oh, you stuck in the 1930s
listen,
on your
I know
machine.
I'm talking to a man who's just been paid £160 million for his new series, so you can do whatever you want.
I am sitting here with an erection while you're having a go. Anyway...
Are you certain it's Amazon Prime and not Amazon past their prime?
Why is it irrelevant whether Jeremy Corbyn pushes the button or not?
Because there's no such thing.
No, well, there probably isn't, actually. That's probably...
Button's connected to an espresso machine.
It's because there's another way of getting submarine commanders to launch nuclear missiles.
Oh, yes, that's right. They tune into Radio 4. If it's not on, they fire the missile.
There you go.
That's the thing that's been protecting us for 30 years.
Exactly. The archers.
Making sure that everybody on Radio 4 keeps talking all the time. The last voice you'll hear will be Nicholas Parsons.
It is. If they can't tune into Radio 4 for a given number of days, a submarine commander goes, well, London must have been destroyed and let's flatten Moscow. Did anyone see his speech?
Yeah, I thought it was exactly what people wanted to hear. It was a bit rambly. He borrowed a bit of it. He missed out some stuff. The deficit, the fact that Labour lost the election. I mean, there's stuff that will have to be addressed eventually, if anyone's going to vote for him.
But Miliband did all of those things and no one voted for him either. I'd rather hear a more fun speech from someone no one's going to vote for.
Oh, you're not saying his speech was more fun?
Yeah, it's more entertaining. Because it's like there's a bit more personality to it. Because you think, blimey, look at him. What's he doing there? But it could, like, be anybody. It could be any of us, not you.
I don't know, old bloke called Jeremy with extreme views.
His message was, it's nice to be nice and nice things are nicer than not nice things. I mean, that's basically... I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's probably true. What did we think of his delivery?
I've got to be back to Amazon.
No.
I know you've got to get the plugs in. He read out a bit where someone had written, strong message here.
Let's show it to the ladies and gentlemen. Here it is.
We need to be investing in skills, investing in our young people. And, strong message here, not cutting student numbers.
Wasn't his most professional moment, I don't think.
No, and it does suggest that the strong message had been missed out.
Yeah. But did you hear what he called you to?
Sickening capitalist lickspittles.
Pretty much. Sneering media commentariat.
I like the commentariat bit.
Yeah.
Just a Soviet hint there.
Why would he say that about you, Camilla?
I said that I was a little bit in love with him only 2 months ago, so I don't know why he would say that.
Well, I'll tell you other things you've said about him is he is a turbo weirdo.
Correct.
A weaponised lentil. An extraordinary half-resuscitated goat. You should sugarcoat it, really, I think.
I stand by it.
Who was notable by their absence at the Labour Party conference?
Putin.
Yeah.
Ed Miliband wasn't there.
None of the old guard. Blair didn't turn up.
No.
Mandelson.
Attlee.
No. Do you know where they were, according to The Sun?
Drinking the blood of babies.
Kinnock was taking a break after 10 years.
Bastard.
Yeah. Blair was busy working in the States. Brown was doing educational work in the States. And Miliband was thinking about climate change. Over at the UKIP conference, how was Nigel Farage caught out this week? He seemed to forget the microphone was on.
We've got upstairs on the 4th floor is the Lazarus Suite, which is my sort of room, so away from all the press, if you want to come up in about half an hour to say hello.
There's literally nothing I can think to say now. He's...
God,
I was going to say...
Lazarus Suite, where you come back from the dead.
Wasn't that the lady who had the picture of him tattooed on her arm?
You can see it, actually, if you want. There's the tattoo of Nigel Farage. She went into a tattoo parlour and said, what have you got? What designs? Can I have a skull? No, I think I'll have Nigel Farage. And there it is.
She said, I want a bell, but just the end of a bell.
Over at the Lib Dems, do you think they're likely to benefit from defections from the Labour Party now that Corbyn's in the hot seat?
Well, they certainly think they will. They think people will move back to the centre and join the Lib Dems. And they put out a message saying, come aboard.
Let's see how they dealt with that question on the right stuff recently.
Do you anticipate many leaving to join the Lib Dems?
Well, I think, you know, you've also got this issue of the Prime Minister putting his cock in a dead pig's mouth.
John, do you know what, mate? Right, 1, it's an allegation. 2, your choice of language in referring to that, I think, far goes beyond what is permitted at this time of the day. And at that point, really, you've forfeited any right to speak on this show, so bye-bye.
I'm glad we finally mentioned it, though. It's hard to talk about precisely because you're not allowed to say those sorts of... It's a difficult story to talk about, isn't it?
What,
Camera
cock?
things. Yeah, you can't really say it.
Because it's pointless, you can hear.
Okay. I was going to say he put his clocks in a pig's mouth.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this ritual is so... I mean, what are the benefits of joining this club? If that, I mean, what do you get? 10% off sports equipment? I mean, what's the great club that you have to stick your cock in a dead pig's mouth to become a member?
Ian, you used to be a member, didn't you?
Oh, there's a hesitation.
No, I wasn't a member. It says I was a member on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
which
that's
is,
what they all say.
Yeah, which is quite embarrassing, given I spent half the week with tabloid journalists ringing me up saying, have you?
Placed your chap.
Clarkson in a
Yeah.
receptacle. Anyway, no, I was not a member of the Piers Gaveston Society. I was a member of the Piers Morgan.
I won't ask what the ritual was to get into that club.
Did you know people who were, though? Is that the sort of thing they did?
Yeah, no. I mean, they
Yes,
threw...
yes, no, no. Your final 2 words on the subject. Yes, no.
He asked me 2 questions. He said, did you know people who were there?
Yes.
And then he asked another question. So I said, yes, I did know people. No, I didn't, which is sort of my answer.
Yes.
I thought I was the one that was going to get a hard time tonight, and it turns out Ian is. Right, yes, this is...
Is that it? We're going to just leave it alone? Lord Ashcroft getting this amazing story into the public domain via the Daily Mail.
I don't think it's even a story. It's a
an
fantasy.
It's an act of amazing revenge by the Mail in cohorts with Lord Ashcroft, which the whole country has decided to believe. Usually a story in the Daily Mail, peddled by a non-dom Tory peer who gave 8 million quid to the Tory party and is in a strop because he wasn't made Defence Secretary, would be laughed out of court. Well, it's not in court yet, but I was hoping it might. But no, we've all taken this seriously, and there's the grinning Lord Ashcroft, who, I mean, you know, if you want to talk about members inserted into, you know, the House of Lords, there he is. I mean, it's a disgraceful story. This man, Lord Ashcroft, who gave the Tories all this money, thought he could get himself into the cabinet, thought he could buy himself a cabinet post. And everybody's gone along with this, saying, oh, great, Lord Ashcroft. I mean, he's a non-dom. If we're doing prick jokes, let's have a condom joke. And if you want something disgusting the Prime Minister's done, I mean, you know, there's loads of it. Bedroom tax would be a good start. There's plenty of these things, and everyone goes around saying, oh, it's about a pig when he was 20. Well, how about being really appalling when he was 50?
Right. Yes, it's the new Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn. Actually, at this early stage, I've got nothing against the bearded, sandal-wearing, teetotal, non-smoking, hummus-loving, anthem-dodging, pinko lefty. Claiming the party was open to new ideas, Corbyn said he wanted to give people the fizz to explode into the joy we want. An odd line, but it once worked a treat on Diane Abbott. Richard, take a look at this.
Ah, yes, it's the 1930s are back in a big way.
New improved Top Gear?
Absolutely. There's Adolf Hitler. He's not happy about Volkswagen, the people's car. They've been cheating their emissions. There's a special bit of software that, when the car knows it's under testing conditions, doesn't give the right information. And Volkswagen, nobody knew about this at the top. Just one bloke and a screwdriver just did it without anybody else knowing. He feels ashamed about it. He's managed to do this in over 50 million cars.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, that covers it all, I think, doesn't it, really?
I don't think that Volkswagen's case was particularly helped by the fact that I think their sort of their deputy CEO was called Olaf Lies.
He was.
Or something.
He was the only one telling the truth.
Yeah.
We all lie about our emissions, though, don't we? Do you blame the dog? I think it's one of those questions you need to know about cars to deal with, so we need an expert. Jeremy, have you got Chris Evans' phone number?
I am not allowed on the BBC to use the C word.
Corbyn?
No, car.
Oh, you're not allowed to talk about cars at all?
No, I can come and do this, I just can't talk about...
Really?
Oh, right.
I'd be right in saying that motoring journalists sort of knew this story all along, didn't they, about the emissions test?
Don't think anybody knew that specifically there was a bit of software in it. The story I do know that one of the major companies was testing a car, well, driving a car past a man from the government to test how loud it was, because they have to be within a certain amount of decibels. And as they knew it was going to fail, so as they got close to him, they put it into neutral, turned the engine off and coasted past him, and went, that's fine, it's not loud enough. And then he was given a, you can sell it.
You know when you said you weren't allowed to talk about cars?
Yeah.
You're
What
allowed
are they
to
going to
talk
do,
about...
fucking sack me? Just thought of that. They can't, can they? It's quite good fun. There were some unusual emissions from a red Citroën Picasso this week. Now, who was responsible for that?
Who would have a Citroën
Red
Picasso?
Citroën Picasso. People who've given up on life, usually.
Yes.
Ronnie Pickering.
Oh, Ronnie Pickering,
Mad
yes.
taxi
Ronnie Pickering.
driver. Did he not sort of have an altercation with a motorcyclist and said, "Don't you know who I am?" And the motorcyclist said, "No." And he just kept on saying it.
Yeah.
Would you like to see it?
Yes.
OK.
Do you know who I am?
You're a care.
Well, you won't know when you pull up.
Come on, who are you then?
Ronnie Pickering.
Oh?
Ronnie Pickering.
Oh?
Ronnie Pickering! Yeah, me.
Ronnie Pickering.
I bet Chris Evans is ringing him even now, don't you think?
Go on, Jeremy, punch him.
You remember how to punch, right?
Hello, he's rolling up his sleeve. He's rolling up his sleeve. The pie's here. The pie's here. Chips, give us chips, quick. Sprouts, sprouts. Eat it,
Good. Cleared up. I've been practicing that face. It's a hard one to pull off.
What, the...
Well, you knew that that was going to crop up, so I had to practice my face.
what was your face? I didn't
Well,
see
it's
it.
like, yes, I knew this was coming. Oh, what an idiot I am.
Yeah. But with a touch of, you know, I made quite a lot of money out of
Yeah.
it, so is it?
I'm in a dilemma. I mean, you punched Piers Morgan, so
Oh.
sometimes...
Yeah, you see.
Yeah. No one's sacking you for that.
No. This is the Volkswagen fiasco, not the name of their latest hatchback, but the ongoing scandal over diesel emissions. As prosecutors launched a criminal investigation into the emissions scandal, it's believed that one of the scientists involved there has killed himself in his garage. He didn't mean to, he was just parking his car. To calm the testers, VW vehicles were fitted with a so-called defeat device. If you're wondering what a defeat device looks like, well, here you go. And so to round two, and it's a welcome return for the steering wheel of news. There we are, and here is the first spin.
Robert Peston, that's Robert Peston. Yeah, he's not been wearing a tie properly, or because he's getting his hair cut, and they want him to look a little bit... BBC wanted a bit more corporate, and he's saying, oh, well, you know, this is where I am. And he might be going to ITV, where they'll let him wear his shirt how long he likes.
Well, nearly.
Nearly?
Yes, it's appearance, but
Yeah.
he's been told that if he wants the ITV news job, which apparently is something he's after, he'll have to put a tie on.
Oh, right.
So it's the other way around.
Yes, I see.
He's been thinking about the career move a lot, and according to The Guardian, he's said to be agonising. Particularly when he's trying to get to the end of a sentence. Because why do you think ITV care?
Shares in tie rack?
They're apparently more strict about their dress code. Wouldn't allow him to interview prominent figures dressed as some kind of lounge lizard. Like this.
There will be many people concerned that you are offering a big Treasury subsidy for power that right now, nuclear power, looks very, very expensive.
So what does Robert Peston say about all of this?
Oh, he just doesn't care.
Having a shirt undone to the waist may be an obstacle to your career on British television news. But where is it a positive asset?
Italy?
Is it Greece? Australia?
No, nearly.
Albania?
Yes! Albania is the correct answer. On the TV station... that's the actual name of the TV station.
Yeah, don't be rude, you'll be on it.
Yeah. A young newsreader called Inky Brakaj. She's found
Inky
a way...
Brakaj, I think I was at school with him.
She's found a way to put myself ahead in a competitive industry. There we go.
I think a tie would help.
Do you know, the really embarrassing thing is, the next question is about Rebecca Brooks, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, I know the answer. Innocent.
Exactly.
On what grounds do you make that rather extraordinary statement?
I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me.
So are we deliberately missing out a Rebecca Brooks question?
It's the wheel of evasion.
Oh, yeah, this is Rebecca Brooks. She was in the news.
Oh, I know who that
A
is.
bit more on the details than I am, actually.
It's a dull man contest, isn't
Well
it?
done. It's called the Dull Men's Club. They used to do a calendar, and now there are so many of them, they've upgraded it to a book.
Fabulous.
If they've called it the Dull Men's Club, that's annoying, so you'd have to think of a new name for your new show.
My favourite dull man was the man who kept a diary from 1980 of his lawn mowing activities.
I'll give you
90
3 points if you can tell me his name.
Ronnie Pickering! Here I am.
I've even got a photograph of him. He's called
Yeah.
David Grissenthwaite, and here he is.
Oh, lovely.
And somebody said to him, why? And he said, you might well ask, I don't know. So this man, OK, has kept detailed records of over 300 bandstands around Britain. Do you know how he celebrated his 50th birthday, Paul?
Paul.
Rabbits.
Handstand on a bandstand.
He got a tattoo of his favourite bandstand.
Oh.
One more dull man.
Yes, please.
Here we
Yes.
go. Who is he?
Now, you see, he is an expert on manhole covers.
Yes.
Yes, he is. That's exactly
Which I
right.
thought was actually incredibly interesting. He can see a manhole cover and say, yes.
That's a manhole cover.
Corbyn actually said, my mother always said there's a history in drain covers, so I take pictures of them. People think it's a little odd, but there we are.
That's why people are so worried. Middle England's going to take him to their breast. He likes
Yeah.
allotments, manhole covers and wears sandals. You think he's not going to win?
Yeah. The other one's sticking his cock in a pig.
And the last spin.
Last spin.
Ready?
Yeah.
So this will be Rebecca Brooks.
Yeah.
That's handy, because I've got questions on that one.
This is Putin powering into Syria and Obama being tense about him doing this and them having a tense meeting at the UN.
Who is currently bombing Syria?
The US are bombing, the French are bombing, the Russians have now joined in. We want to go in, apparently.
You wouldn't want to be an air traffic controller, would you, in Syria right now? Where the hell are this lot coming from? Which other famous face popped in to see Obama this week?
The Pope.
Yeah.
Sorry.
At times it did look like he didn't want to be there.
Really?
Watch.
How dare he not sing?
Typical.
Who went all out and dressed up for the Pope's visit?
Dogs.
Lot of
Dogs
them.
disguised as the Pope.
Look at this lot.
The Pope's got a hairy face.
Apparently asked if the Pope was aware of the Pope dog trend, a Vatican spokesman said, I don't know if he's conscious of that. I imagine he has more important things to do. What is the Pope releasing just in time for Christmas?
Is it an omission?
A single?
Yes, it is. He's releasing his own rock and pop album.
Oh, lovely.
With his papal speeches
Yes.
set to music. He premiered it on Rolling Stone's website. It's called Wake Up, Go, Go Forward.
Wake up. Wake up.
It's not an advert for an alarm clock. It's a papal alarm clock.
Meanwhile, when the Pope addressed the US Congress, Speaker John Boehner was moved to tears. And that is pathetic. The only time you'd catch our Speaker crying is if he comes home early and sees his cousin's trousers on the landing. Time for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication warehouse and logistics news. And we start with Mr. Wallace wins Warehouse Manager of the Year award after what?
After Mr. Gromit is sacked.
After his competitors are found in shallow graves in Epping Forest.
He wins Warehouse Manager of the Year after moving 15,000 pallets from one warehouse to another. Well, nobody else could do. Exactly.
Well, wouldn't it be better management if he'd asked somebody else to do it? That's doing it himself, that's not management.
Yeah, Wallace.
Yeah,
Cop that up.
Yeah, give it back.
Next, Miss Italy contestant ridiculed after telling judges she wants to what?
Press charges.
Was it live in 1942?
Very close. She actually said experience World War II.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a Miss Italy contestant who told judges she'd love to travel back in time to the 1940s. If she'd gone back to 1942, the 18-year-old Miss Italy would have experienced many dangers, such as air raids, Mussolini's secret police, and most terrifying of all, being approached by a middle-aged Silvio Berlusconi. And finally, what could be hiding in your tuna sandwich?
Is it paedophile?
Well, could be.
Oh, it'd be some poison. E. coli.
Ooh, yeah, getting nearer now.
Not salmonella.
Yeah. Oh, no, it'd be tunarella.
It was in the Daily Mail.
That's a salmon.
The answer is deadly toxin. This news was from the Daily Mail this week. Sandwiches are often dangerous, of course, especially if it's 11 o'clock at night.
And you've had a couple of hours drinking first. Is it Coke?
Anyway,
just
listen.
bad temper.
The final scores are Ian and Camilla, 5, and Richard, 6.
No.
And I leave you with news that at a Moscow exhibition celebrating his life, some of Vladimir Putin's childhood toys go on display. On the set of my new car show for Amazon Prime, there are concerns that James May might be becoming a bit diva-ish. And in Bavaria, a fox regrets standing too close to the exhaust of a Volkswagen Golf. Good night.
Kathy Burke returns to chair Have I Got News For You next week at 9 with Charlie Brooker and Nish Kumar as guest panellists. Next, do you remember the 70s? Well, embrace the flares and lovely brown wallpaper because you're about to get a great flashback courtesy of our brand new comedy The Kennedys next. And now over on BBC 3, it's Russell Howard's Good News.